Greetings and welcome to the Affirmative Employment section of the Civilian Personnel Office. We'll be reviewing the following items with you to help you get acclimated to being here in Korea. Status of Forces Agreement. Once you receive your CAC, you will need to get your SOFA stamp for yourself and your dependents. You can get this by going to the immigration office located inside the passenger terminal. They are open from roughly 9 to noon, Monday through Friday. They will want a copy of your LOE, but they may need other employment documentation as well. Please be prepared with copies. Job Induction Checklist and Unit Security Manager. Please take your Job Induction Checklist to your new supervisor to review and initial all items. Then both you and your supervisor will need to sign and date the form. Once complete, send a copy to our office so that we can add this to your employee folder. As an important note, ensure you touch base with your unit security manager to see if they need anything from you as a new employee at Osan. They will check your clearance status and they play a role in getting your new email account situated. Direct deposit and W-4. We will email your direct deposit and W-4 forms to Miss Yu from Civilian Pay so that she can get you set up in her payroll system. Please provide us with your Osan mailing address. Additionally, if you have a TSP loan, Miss Yu will need the case number and the amount per pay period. If you have a TSP to transfer, please ensure that you have filled out the TSP-19. DoD rotation policy. Overseas employees are limited to a total of 5 years in the overseas area. 1 year out from your DEROS, we will email your supervisor your extension package. At this point, you and your supervisor should have a discussion about extending. Whether or not you extend, you will sign documentation. If your supervisor has not heard from our office by this point, please touch base with us. Keep in mind, extensions are at the discretion of your supervisor. PD Form 577. You only need to fill this out if you are in a supervisory position. If so, you will need to complete this form and send it to Ms. Yu from Civilian Pay. If you have questions on filling this out, Ms. Yu can provide guidance. Initial Ethics Orientation Briefing. This is mandatory training. You must contact the legal office to get scheduled for this training as soon as you begin working. Career program or non-career program. If your position is a career program position, then the funding for your PCS costs back to the states will be paid for by AFPC. If you are in a non-career program position, then the funding for your PCS costs back to the states will be paid for by local funds. Overseas Employment Agreement. If you are locally appointed, you are not considered a full benefit employee. PCS expense and LQA are not authorized. You may be eligible for the Priority Placement Program to assist you in finding employment stateside once your tour has been completed here and you will not be extending. Family member employment or appointment under Executive Order 12721. You are eligible for this hiring category if you have completed 52 weeks in an appropriated fund position performed under a local hire appointment overseas. Work must have been performed during the time the family member was accompanying a sponsor officially assigned to an overseas area, and the eligible family member must have received a fully successful or better performance rating. Go to the following link for further information. Return Rights Agreement. If you have return rights, they will be maintained up to 5 years. If you wish to extend beyond 5 years in the overseas area, your return rights will most likely be forfeited. If applicable, it is important to contact your return rights base regarding a possible extension beyond the 5-year mark. Transportation agreement. Depending on the installation you are going to, or at some installations, whether or not you are accompanied, your assignment is for either 12, 24, or 36 months. You have signed the DD Form 1617 for the appropriate length. When you complete your initial tour, you will be eligible for return travel and transportation allowances at government expense. The tour length for Kunsan is 12 months. The tour length for Osan, Daegu, and accompanied members at Kunsan is 24 months, and the tour length for Cheongju employees is 36 months. PMEOPF for new Air Force employees. Please review the OPM EOPF guide for setting up a username and password to access the Air Force EOPF. EOPF houses your official employment documents. You will be able to retrieve your SF-50s from here, as well as other employment documents. Ration control and ID cards. Your CAC serves as your ration control card. Your dependents, however, will need to get a ration control card from Pass an ID. You may want to visit Pass an ID as soon as possible so that your dependents can get their ration control card and shop at the BX commissary and shopette. Letter of employment. We will provide you with your letter of employment and DD Form 1172. You will need both documents to get your CAC and dependent IDs. Once AFPC has completed your SF-50, you will show up in DEERS within roughly 48 hours. It is at this point that you can go to the MPF to get your CAC and dependent IDs. We will let you know once AFPC has completed your SF-50. SAPR and suicide prevention. It is required for all new employees to complete SAPR and suicide prevention training. Please contact your unit training manager so they can get you scheduled as necessary. SF-61. If you are a new federal employee or new to the Department of the Air Force, you will be sworn in virtually at a separate time.